Good evening, good evening. Welcome back to the break room. The break room. We got I'm pretty excited for this show right here. This is my last podcast of the year. And we're gonna take it on out with I got a very special guest today. Go by the name of Mr. Wade Simmons. And I'm gonna bring him on the screen and let him give y'all an introduction on who he is. Hey, Mr. Wade.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, actually.
And thank you for being my guest for my last show for the year.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that.
Yes. Yes, I'm pretty excited. Went a whole year with consistency. Yeah. So why don't you tell people who you are and what you do?
So I'm Wade Simmons. I am an independent filmmaker who happens to also be a funeral service worker, and I'm currently training for pro wrestling.
Okay. All right. You say you work in the funeral service, or do you own a funeral service, or do you just work there? Let's talk a little bit about your work inside the funeral home.
Okay. Yeah, so recently I have been trying to finally pass my science portion of the test for like almost 5 years. I finally just passed that part. So I'm super excited. But yeah, I've been in funeral service for 12 years. So since high school.
Congratulations on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
been
you,
12 years. Time moves really fast, trust me.
yeah. So I know a lot of people don't choose that as a profession. Like so I know it has to be a passion that lies there with that for you, like just to want to work in the funeral industry altogether. So what gave you that passion? Where did that come from?
Again, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be like a mortician. I really believe that it kind of stemmed from me, having like a supernatural experience. I can't remember how old I was, but I remember we were in Kansas City for a church convention, and I literally like almost like drowned. And I don't know if it was an out of body experience. Like I love when the Apostle Paul said, like, whether in the body, out the body, he couldn't tell, but it was like an
Mm-hmm.
experience where like I remember saying like I saw angels and things like that. It wasn't scary or anything, but it just gave me awareness that God was real and things like that. And I think from that, I think that kind of made me a little interested in working in this field. Like it didn't scare me or anything. It just kind of showed me like, I mean, God is real and all that. And so like when you think about this business, it's a little different from most industries because,
Yeah.
it could be a little more faith based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I say I know you have to have a passion to want to do that because I know like a lot of people just not gonna choose that as a career option. A lot of people be scared. They have all these little side stories about what they see when a person dies. So is that true? Have you ever seen any kind of weird things happening while working in the funeral home?
No, I mean, dealing with people sometimes, but I mean, as far as like weird things, no, not at all. I mean, dealing with people could be tough in any business. So like this,
Right.
you have to kind of go the extra mile. But I mean, for the most part, I think this is one of those jobs that you should definitely be passionate about.
Yep.
You
Yep.
have to be because I mean, this is like a field that a lot of people have like walked away from. Like even like
Hmm.
people who went to school and everything, and when they got into it and worked, and they like, nah, nah,
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been around it for 12 years. I mean, there's some people who've been doing it their whole life. Like I got a friend of mine, TC. He grew up and he been doing this since he was a little child. So I mean, everybody comes to it a bit differently, but no matter how
Yeah.
you come to it, it gotta be in you to do it.
Hmm. Yep. I could just imagine. So, we just past few years or so, we've been dealing with COVID. So, I know the funeral industry was kind of different during COVID. Explain to us how that was for you working in the funeral industry during COVID.
So I mean, it was rough, because I mean, every state was different, but I know like here in Illinois, like at one point it got to like we can only have 10 people in it at a time, and that was rough because I mean, if you have a lot of people, then you couldn't just tell them that you can't let them all in. You had to
Yeah.
let them in 10 at a time.
So
Yeah.
I know that was kind of emotional for you to have to turn people away. Like, did that get emotional at times?
I mean, yeah, it did, but I mean, we had to like follow state protocol. I mean, we could get shut down, so you got to you
Right.
can't go against the government. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Hmm.
do what you're told. As long as they ain't telling you to do nothing wrong. But I mean,
Yeah.
to follow the protocol, you got to do what you have to do.
Yeah. So did you ever have a time where it was just overwhelming to you, where it made you feel like just giving up, or you just stuck there like that's something you won't never give up?
No, my thing is more about, just trying to move forward and getting fully licensed because like I said, I've been doing it 12 years, but like, like I'm becoming more of an intentional based person. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I've been doing this 12 years. It's time to finally
Yeah.
get licensed,
Yeah.
I mean, some people are fine with being stagnated, but I feel like life is about growth and tomorrow not promised to anybody. So, you learn very quickly in life, like you gotta live with purpose and you can't allow anybody to stop you from growing.
Hmm. Okay. So now that you have your license, where do you see you going with that? You think you will have your own business or?
Oh no, I mean I'm not fully licensed yet, but I mean not at all. Like, I mean I would always like to help and help wherever I can, but yeah,
Yeah.
as far as owner, no. I mean, you never know what God may lead you to do, but I'm not interested.
Okay. Why not? Why would you not be interested in like doing it for yourself? Like, is it a lot
Well,
that comes with it?
what? Because a lot of people look at this as like a money making thing, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like it could be, but I mean, for the most part, I think in order for me to keep my love for it, I would not want to be an owner. Like, like I mean, I'm not tied down to just doing one thing, and then too, like you would have to be, always around. You know what I'm saying?
Right, 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 right.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be a tough career, but yeah. So I appreciate you for having that passion for that though, because we need people like that in that industry that we know gonna handle with care and you. I mean, I can tell that you're passionate about that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be because like in this field, it's so much you can do. Like, I mean, you can be an embalmer, you can just do services,
Mhm.
you can just do death certificates. I mean, you can pretty much do nothing at all. But I mean,
Yeah,
either way, like, my thing is that whatever you do in this field, you want to do it right and not half do it because This is not Burger King or McDonald's. No offense to any of them, but it's like, you can mess up somebody's order, things like that. But if you mess up somebody loved one, I mean, that's something that they'll never
Right.
forget. So I mean, you
Right.
you definitely have to like have a caring heart, and you definitely have to follow protocol. And
Mhm.
sometimes you may have to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, so you definitely want to make sure that you do the best job that you can.
Right. So they have like barbers and hairstylists and all that in that field too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a funeral director that's actually a barber himself, and
Mhm.
because a lot of the morticians that I know, this is not their only job. Like I know two that are lawyers.
Yeah.
I know one that's a pilot. I know some that's accountants. I know some that's in the military. So I mean, I feel like this is like a job where if to me, this is my opinion, but I feel like anybody that do this type of job should have other things that they do too in
Mhm.
order to keep your love for it. Because I mean, if you just do it all the time, some people may not be honest, but you can get burned out. It don't matter
Right.
how much you love something. Like if you don't balance your life out, you can get burned out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And then like besides you being a mortician, you're doing like short filming as well. So I noticed that you're passionate about your short films too. And you've recently done one.
You never know.
Yeah,
That
that
may
one.
be,
You
yeah.
never know. So tell us about the short film. Tell us where did the name originate from? Like what is the meaning behind it?
So I have a web series called Love Always Wins. And it's funny because I just came up with the title this year, but we have been doing it for 4 years now. But I mean, like it was one of those things where like, we were trying to like make up a name and make up a name, but like, Chris Hosborn, the young gentleman that used to do the cinematography for me. And he was like, a name will come because, like when you create something, sometimes you don't always know exactly, like you have an end goal in mind, but like everything is not always. I don't care what nobody say, like even if you have an idea, you never know what it will become
Right.
because things change and stuff happens. And but I had this idea of making a web series, like it's not, it's a fictionalized version of my life, and like I wanted to do something different. I wanted
Mhm.
to do something creative because like I'm not gonna lie, like me personally, like I'm a filmmaker, but I say I'm a filmmaker with boundaries. Like I know there's a lot of people that like create stuff, and they don't. How can I put it? Like they don't. Like it's a lot of stuff out here that everybody can't watch. But I
Right.
wanted to
Right.
create something that anybody can watch and don't have to worry about anything inappropriate or things like that. Like you don't have to be vulgar to be creative or be funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna show a little snippet of that short, but I'm just gonna show a little piece because I don't want to give it away. I want people to still go watch it. So we're gonna show just a little snippet of it right quick.
Okay.
All right.
True. Where is Wade? You've been waiting a little bit too long. Oh, speaking of the devil.
Hey, what's up, you all? Sorry about being late. It was a bad accident on the expressway. Give me about 10 minutes. I'll be ready.
So, how's your girlfriend that you don't have? you know.
That was funny. That was real funny. That was funny. That,
Don't
that was
have-
funny.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
funny.
Sorry, Junior.
I'm fine.
Who phone is that ring? Can't be mine. Let me check. Come. Hello? No, this is not Andrea. This is Wade. How can I help you? What? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Let me see if I can get it for you. Okay.
That's a good joke.
Okay. All right. So y'all make sure y'all go check that out. Let them know where they can find the rest of that snippet.
Wade Filmmaker 37s on Vimeo. So Wade Filmmaker 777 on Vimeo.
Okay, that's Wade Filmmaker 777 on Vimeo. Okay, so about how long does your series be? Do you planning on doing any like full movies, or you just keeping it short?
I mean, for now we're just focusing more on shorts, but I mean, I do plan, God willing, to get into features too.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's awesome. That's dope. I be watching them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. At least I know somebody watching.
Yep. Yep, I be watching them. So, aside of your filmmaking, aside of the mortician work, you're still found time to train as a pro wrestler as well.
Yeah, I
So,
love it. I mean, it's the best, one of the best things I could have got involved with. Yep, I love it.
okay, so let's tell us about how you got started into that.
So I wrestled in high school freshman year, but I quit, and then I went back into it senior year. The same year I started working in the funeral business. So I never saw myself like really, necessarily getting into pro wrestling, but filmmaking what actually led me into it because I was interested in making a documentary about pro wrestling. So I reached out to Steve Boss, a very well respected, trainer in the pro wrestling bit. He was in WWE at one time. He's been around, like he's been on the independent scene for a very long time.
Mhm.
And I reached out to him, and so like we were talking or whatever, and he told me like come train or whatever. And I met some of the wrestlers and stuff. A lot of talented people, man. And then he knew that I wrestled in high school, so he's like, "Well, wait, when you gonna start training?" I'm like, I guess I'll start next week." So me and a friend of mine, Jalen, who also acts with me, last year we started around this time, and I mean it's been a little kind of off and on, inconsistent because of me trying to pass this test and
Mhm.
other life things. But I mean, for the most part, so far it's been an amazing year. So God willing, next year, hopefully early on in the year, you get to meet the $1 million mortician in the
Okay.
ring.
Yeah, I like how that sound.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm supposed to be managing a wrestler by the name of Eddie the Bruise Cruz, and my saying is Eddie the Bruise Cruz, baby. He don't lose.
Yep, I like that. I like that. That's catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how far do you plan to go with the wrestling?
Oh,
You want to
however
make a
God bless
career?
me. I mean, if I get a contract on one of them bigger promotions, hey, why not?
So, who are you inspired by in wrestling? Are you just a fan, or is there one that just stick out to you?
Well, my favorite wrestler would be Road Dogg. Very big fan of Paul Bearer, who was the Undertaker's manager.
Hey, that's us. That's dope. Now, I grew up in the old times when Lex Luger and all them was out.
Oh yeah. Well, hey,
Yeah, them
I
them
mean,
old
the unique
wrestlers.
thing about wrestling, yeah. But I mean,
Yep,
it's still entertainment. I love it.
yep. So you have a lot of stuff that you have going on. Like you're doing the mortician work, you're doing the pro wrestling, and you're doing your short films. So how are you finding time to juggle? How are you juggling all of those together? Is it certain days that you put aside to do certain things, or
Yeah. So pro wrestling training is Tuesday and Thursdays and Saturdays, but of course I work in the funeral business, so Saturday is kind of out of the question. So I only get to practice on Thursday when I can. But I'm kind of working on change. Like I said, I'm just forever. So things change. So I'm just kind of working things out now. Yep.
okay,
But anything in
okay,
life, if God give me the opportunity, I'm gonna take it. That's just who
right,
I am.
yep, that's the good way to be. Opportunity comes, got to jump on it.
Yeah, you
Yep.
can't wait around
So,
for it because tomorrow not promised to anybody. So if God gives you a door and open it up, you better run.
right, right, right. So where do you see Wade Simmons 5 years from now?
So Lord willing, hopefully I've been made some features and documentaries, and hopefully by then I would have been well into my pro wrestling career.
Okay. Okay, that sounds about right.
Been a
So
funeral director too. Yeah.
how long does that take to be fully licensed? Is it a
Well,
process
so
or?
yeah, it's a process because like you take your state boards, you gotta pass them, and then once you do all, you gotta wait on the state to get all your paperwork. Because I mean, the thing about it is that even with passing the test and all, you gotta wait for them to send your paper. That
uh,
can take a while, you know.
okay, so is there an amount of
'Cause
hours that you have to even take the test? Do you have to have a certain amount of hours in?
well, so once you, cause see, the weird thing about funeral service is every state is different. So it's like if like if I lived in Wisconsin, right, which is only you can do your internship before you even go to school. You know, I mean, because I got from Illinois where I live, you gotta finish school and all that, and then take the test, and then you consider the intern.
If you had the opportunity to push somebody into, say for instance, somebody was wanted to do some of the things that you're doing, what kind of advice could you give to someone that may be stuck and don't know where to start?
I would always say pray about it first. I mean, God is always the best producer and director you ever have, and then just look for an avenue, you know, and just take a chance.
Okay. Okay. And you said look for whatever, whenever that door open, just go through it basically.
Yeah, don't even look if the opportunity coming. It's a good opportunity. You know, you pray about it, and you know, like gives you the green light. Take it. You know,
Hmm.
time waits for
Yeah.
nobody. You know, and you don't want opportunities or life to pass you because I feel like you know everybody has a purpose, and no matter who we are, whether we use our time wisely, it still goes by. So you might as well make the most of it, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I do want to go back and touch back on, I think we skipped a part where I had asked you about how long does it take to be a mortician. Like, I know you mentioned that different state requires different protocols, but what is the average amount of time that you need to put in to even take the exam?
Us, I mean, the thing about the exam, so I mean, if you go to school, like the program I went to was a crash. It was like only a year. I mean, ooh, but man, I tell you, it was rough. Ooh, it was rough. I'm still having nightmares about it. Not the business, but the school part.
What you said, it was a rough year.
Oh yeah, it was rough.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, but it takes you as long as it takes you. You know, I mean, for some people, they knock it out a year and a half, and then some it take a little longer.
Okay. Did you do any schooling for film or
Yep,
is
I graduated from Glass for Chicago because like right after I finished mortuary school,
mhm.
like 7 months later, I went to film school. I'm like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to film school,
Right, right, right.
and
Okay.
and I graduated. Yep. I thank God for it. I had a blast in film school too. The best decision I could have made.
Okay. Okay, well that would be all my questions that I have, unless you have something else that you want to add before we leave.
Well, all I'll just say is that I always leave everybody with this advice. Two things I always say is keep God first and make the most of life. Don't let life make the most of you.
Okay. Y'all heard it right here. So, with all that being said, I appreciate you for being my last guest of the year, And we look forward to connecting some more down in the future on next year. So keep a lookout on that, and I thank you for stopping by. So y'all make sure give them your tags again so they can follow you and make sure that they watch your movies on Vimeo.
Sure. So I'm Wade Filmmaker 777 on Vimeo. So Wade Filmmaker 37s on Vimeo. You can find me on Instagram. I rarely use it, but Wade Jedi 99. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And then you can find me on Facebook, Wade 7. Feel free to reach out. I'm a chatterbox, so I'm open to talking to any and everybody. Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna leave with that being said. So I thank you for stopping by again, and we about to be off here.